Welcome. Just getting some battery power. Welcome. Don't go away. I'll be with you as soon as possible. Just finding my battery power. Aha, welcome, Maria Moon. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to wait for a couple of other people to come in. I am going to post the link, although I will be reading this out first. Of course, I need to put the link up. Comment. There we are. No worries. Well, that's good because nobody has to join yet at all. Because I am prepared to completely read this out. So maybe get a couple of people in, a couple of extra people in first. I don't know who's actually here. Give me a moment to find out. 2 seconds. Hello. Are you eating? Nope, Andy's gone. Okay. Okay, there it is. Right. So, to make this easier, I will zoom in. Try and get it big enough for everyone to see before we even start.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm eating while I'm talking to you.
No problem. Right, I'm just going to remove you from the layout. There we are.
That's cool.
Your voice is still there, obviously.
Cool.
So yeah, you're fine not saying anything in eating because there's probably not much to say for a minute. If I quickly read this out, Okay, so we have, so we have, as you can see, the province of Saskatchewan. However, that's said, and I've probably just butchered it. The minister's order, which was received September 13th, 2021, to the clerk of the Executive Council. Now, I just happened to find out while I dragged this out of the internet that this is a issue. So the same, I believe, maybe it's not exactly the same, but it looked the same. Order had been already made previously during this year. So I don't know what has actually been done with the order so far, and whether anything will be done with this order. But it's been reissued, obviously. So, and as Fluke had mentioned, it's bloody important, the contents of it. So, I can just get it right size so I can go through it. That's just about right. Oh, there we are. Okay, so by order of the Lieutenant Governor in Council, dated September 13th, 2021, a declaration of emergency has been made for the province of Saskatchewan to address the COVID-19 public health emergency. Sections 18 and 18.1 of the Emergency Planning Act provide in part as follows. Powers of Minister in an emergency. 18.1. On the making of an emergency declaration or a renewal of an emergency declaration, which this is, and during the emergency period, the Minister may A. Put into operation any emergency plan or programme that the Minister considers appropriate. Now we're going to go through all this all after. B. Authorise or require a local authority to put into effect any emergency plan for the municipality. C. Assume direction and control of the emergency response of a local authority. D. Acquire or utilise any real or personal property that the Minister considers necessary to prevent, combat, or alleviate the effects of an emergency. E. Authorise any qualified person to render aid of a type that the person is qualified to provide. F. Control or prohibit travel to or from any area of Saskatchewan. G. Provide for the restoration of essential facilities and the distribution of essential supplies. H. Provide, maintain and coordinate emergency medical, welfare, law enforcement and other essential services in any part of Saskatchewan. I. Cause the evacuations of persons and the removal of persons or livestock and personal property from any area of Saskatchewan that is or may be affected by an emergency, and make arrangements for the adequate care and protection of those persons or livestock and of the personal property. J. Authorize the entry into any building or on any land without warrant by any person in the course of implementing an emergency plan. K. Cause the demolition or removal of any trees, structures, or crops if the demolition or removal is necessary or appropriate in order to reach the scene of the emergency, to attempt to forestall its occurrence or to combat its progress. Okay, procure or fix prices for food, clothing, fuel, equipment, medical supplies or other essential supplies, and the use of any property, services, resources or equipment with any part of Saskatchewan during the emergency period. Point 1, cause information to be collected, used or disclosed that the minister is satisfied is necessary to prevent, combat or alleviate the effects of the emergency and for no other purpose, as in no other purpose. Okay, so conscript persons needed to meet an emergency, and N, do all acts to take all proceedings that are reasonably necessary to meet the emergency. Now that is part 18. This is 18.1, and it's not very long, not as long as what we just had. So section 18, every order made pursuant to section 18 prevail in the case of any conflict with any other act, regulation, order, collective agreement, other agreement, or law. So I'll read it as it is stated. I, Scott Moe, President of the Executive Council, in accordance with and in furtherance of the general powers and duties set out in sections 18 and 18.1 of the Emergency Planning Act, hereby order and direct that in the province of Saskatchewan, including the city of Lloydminster, for the duration of the above noted state of emergency. A. All persons are required to comply with any orders made by the Minister of Health, pursuant to the Public Health Act 1994, to the extent that the order does not conflict with this order or any other pursuant to Section 18 of the Emergency Planning Act. B. All persons are required to comply with any orders, I'll say that again, any orders issued by the Office of the Chief Medical Health Officer, to the extent that the order does not conflict with this order or any other order pursuant to Section 18 of the Emergency Planning Act. C. All persons are required to comply with any direction issued by the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency in accordance with its powers and duties under the Emergency Planning Act and the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency Act, to the extent that the directive or order does not conflict with this order or any other pursuant to Section 18 of the Emergency Planning Act. And D. All persons defined as employers and employees in the letter of understanding entered into between Saskatchewan Health Authority, the SHA, Saskatchewan Association of Health Organizations, SAHO, Canadian Union of Public Employees, CUPE, Health Sciences Association of Saskatchewan, HSAS, Saskatchewan, or whatever it is, Government and General Employees Union, Health Providers, the SCEGU, Service of Employees International Unions, there's a lot of them, isn't there? The Union of Nurses, SUN, dated April 17, 2020, relating to redeployment, assignment and cohorting of healthcare employees across Saskatchewan to address staffing issues and to address healthcare needs to ensure appropriate and safe patient care, are required to comply with the terms of the letter of understanding, notwithstanding any terms of expiry in the said letter of understanding. Dated September 13th, 2021 at Regina, Saskatchewan. Yeah, sorry, I really can't say that. Honourable Scott Moe, President of the Executive Council. And that read, that's pretty damning, if you ask me, for anything they want to do. And hello, Natural Born. And hello, anyone else who's in the chat, who we don't know. So yes, that's pretty good.
Basically, excuse me, basically,
Screwed.
you haven't got a leg to stand on if they choose
No,
so.
because they own your legs.
Yeah, exactly.
And they own the ground that the legs are probably standing on as well.
Yeah, it comes down to the fact that let's make this a state of emergency. Oh, we want that.
Hmm. Yeah, for
That's,
the we assume control of this. You know, we require this. We will control or prohibit use of this. Yep, they basically can do whatever the hell they want.
yep,
Whatever the hell they want.
yep. And you
And I
cannot
don't
do
think the
anything about
Mounties,
it.
yeah, I don't think the Mounties will stop them.
No. Yeah, this is Canada.
Yes, this is
No,
Canada, and quite a nice in history, quite a nice place to live. I actually wanted to emigrate there at one time.
uh-huh. So it's in one area of Canada so far. So
Well, yes,
I
one
would have
area,
thought that. Go on, SJ.
and I would imagine it's going to spread like COVID.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's starting in one, in other words, one province, and they're going to do it into the next province and the next province, and it's just going to go on and on and on and on and on.
Yep, they will own everyone's legs, natural born. Yeah, absolutely. Even the people that don't have some, they'll probably own the wheelchair
Yeah, yeah. It's see,
or
and
the crutches or whatever. Yeah,
this is why I take it you watched a little bit of that of Dino's channel. What I was on about.
I had to yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I watched the end
See,
bit because I didn't know Fluke was on first, but luckily it didn't take long for me to hear him say the order and Saskatchewan. So that is what I began doing my search with, and I
yeah.
eventually got it. Yeah, so very happy.
Yeah, so after hearing all of it, because obviously Flu got a little bit frustrated, and by hearing it
A shame
all,
Canadian. Sorry, Master Ant. A shame Canadian. If you want to join the panel, please do. And yes, your comment
yeah,
there, and then people obviously ask you why you called yourself the ashamed Canadian. Yes, we understand why. Certainly after this, I mean, it's basically ultimate dictatorship
at his finest.
at its finest. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's because of a master race issue or it's because of a medical emergency issue or an anything issue. To be honest, there should
That's what I
never
mean.
be this.
No, it is basically saying all your rights, we take them away from you. Oh, we want that. Oh, we want that. Oh, it's going to come under this act or it's going to come under that act. You know, you got to deal with it.
And I'm sorry, but let's say right there was a meteor coming towards the planet, and the government started saying there's a meteor coming towards the planet, and oh, why can I? Why can't I actually get him in? Okay, sorry. Ashcan, there we are. Added to stream. Are you added to stream? No. Ashcan, add to stream. There we are. You're now added. Let me just
Hello,
put it.
Ashkan.
Hey,
I can leave it on this solo layout for now. Certainly. Yeah. So oh yeah, the natural born just put or a dollar issue. Yeah, that's another good reason to lock everyone down and take away all the rights and have carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want. I mean, he turned it upside down. You see, if we do that with the Union flag, most people don't know it's upside down, but there is a correct way up. Um, yeah, I mean, do we even need to go through this? I mean, you know, A, put into operation any emergency plan or program that the minister considers appropriate. well, let's say he has a bit of a moment and decides that, everyone has to bend over for him in a row in the high street because he considers it appropriate. Who
Yeah,
knows? That just gives him all right to do whatever the hell he wants. And nobody
yeah,
should have that power. Nobody. And as I was about to say, right, let's say there's a meteor coming down and it's going to, and we'll do it on the same level. So there's a city, a town, a state, or whatever that is in danger of being decimated, destroyed, and nobody wants to go hide in the caves. Nobody wants to do that. Well, sorry, government, it's time to give up then and go and hide yourselves. Because if you can't get everyone to go and do it because you've asked them to, it's tough shit. They're going to die. You didn't do your job properly. You don't have to force anyone. It's their choice. It should always be
You
their
know,
choice. That's my
I
view.
told people here in Canada, I told people here in Canada, you're going to need a passport to travel anywhere in Canada. It's conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, I read I read something the other night. Oh, sorry, your sound is going a bit,
Yeah.
but we'll keep with you.
Well, with Tim Hortons donut shop, you can order your coffee to go. But if you want a passport in order to sit in a fucking Tim Hortons stand,
yeah. Ash
Yeah,
can.
you're definitely lagging in and out, and we're losing you some of the time. Don't know if it's a microphone issue. They may be blocking you. Yeah, sorry, I had to say that.
yeah.
Right. Do you want to try to speak again, Ash can?
Anyways, I just
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Certainly prepared to see if we can sort that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, from what you just said, if I mention what I think about that, yes, absolutely. The difference between conspiracy theory and reality was 6 months at the beginning, 20 months ago. Now it's, it changed to 6 weeks, and now it's more like 6 seconds.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's then being proven as reality, not as a conspiracy theory, but as a reality.
Shut down the carnival a day because of COVID
Restrictions. Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah, having trouble.
that's
I'd say it's an internet issue potentially, because you do seem to be the video is also pausing at the same time.
yeah.
I mean, any of these I read out acquire to utilize any real or personal property that the minister considers necessary to prevent, combat, or alleviate the effects of an emergency. Yeah, I mean, I know that they have that right during emergencies, but they only ever do that at, last resort, don't they?
Supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, have they actually been implementing any of this, as in using it?
They use hotels as jail.
Okay. Well, that's
You
definitely
come
one
back
use.
into the country, you got to.
Well, we've been doing that, but I don't know if we've been doing it under any kind of emergency allocation of order.
No, here it's just his government because he uses. So
Yeah, I didn't make any of that out. Yeah, this one's one F is control or prohibit travel to or from an area of Saskatchewan. So lockdown. And also the distribution of essential control or provide the restoration of essential facilities and distribution of essential supplies. So they can do whatever they want with any kind of facilities or essential supplies of anyone. Like if you're a farmer and they say, we have to come and destroy your crops, then they have to come and destroy your crops, I imagine, or hand them out to everyone, or take them away for themselves. Yeah.
Basically, do the fuck they like.
It really is. It's across the board. There is no boundaries. Absolute. I mean, the only thing it doesn't say is we can medicate you with whatever the hell we want. But maybe I didn't read it right, and it does mean that. I mean, they can come into your personal property, there. Livestock, personal property, entry into a building without warrant, in the course of implementing an emergency plan. So, we want to use your house to make our to plan our emergency plan. Cause, and this is a really good one. Cause the demolition or removal of any trees, structures, or crops. I mean, wow.
Exactly. They can take your home, your land, and everything, destroy it all to do whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah.
That's how I'm seeing it. That they can literally just ruin your life.
And I imagine if you're going to say, I don't want you to do this, then you would be under military control at that point.
Well, that's where it says they don't need a warrant or anything to remove you. So literally, that is what it is. They don't even have to go to the court justice to get a warrant to have a reason. No reason at all. Oh, we just want that. Oh, let's think of something, a reason. There you go. That's all that says.
It screams World War II and the Nazis.
Yeah, the Nazis.
That's the worst.
That's what they do. They just took it.
And here also, conscript persons needed to meet an emergency. So yeah, you're the whoever in the town, and we want you to do your job for us, probably for free, for as many hours as we want, wherever we want.
Yeah. Yeah, they can just take you and say, oh, well, here you go. This is, conscripts.
Yeah. And that's a good one. And do all acts and take all proceedings that are reasonably necessary to meet the emergency. Now, reasonably would be them telling us, I imagine, what is reasonable or not in this case. Because if I go back to the top, yeah, put into operation any emergency plan or program that the minister considers appropriate, and that would be the reasoning
Mhm.
is considered appropriate. Hi, Joanne.
And we have a constitution protecting us from the government, but nobody wants to stand up to them.
Yeah, well, Maria Moon just said time for a world uprising, and I can't disagree with that.
It's no time, is there?
Yeah, like Maria Moon just said, Maria Moon's my partner, mate, and we're sitting there watching it together. And things are now really rapidly changing. Because
Well, like I say,
you
this is
know
a
that,
reissue, right? This has already been in effect for however
yeah,
long. But if they're reissuing, and I, in the past, I have seen many laws put in place, and they haven't used them for a while until they're comfortable with them being there.
hmm
How long will it take for them to be comfortable? And how long will it take for people to be going, well, I don't want this shit? And then people saying, well, I think they should take this shit. And then it's even more of an emergency because people aren't taking this shit. You know, people are rebelling. We can't have that. It's even more of an emergency situation, you know?
hmm So,
Now,
so,
one thing,
what's the guy's name again? Sash, is it?
Ash,
SG?
I'm just going
Ash.
to bring it back at Ash Can.
All
Yeah.
right. Ash,
Yeah.
do many Canadians know of this in I can't pronounce the place. Do many Canadians
Saskatchewan.
anywhere else know?
I think the question is asking is the other provinces. Do they really know what's going on in Saskatchewan?
Well, you got mainstream media that put it's the same things happening in Saskatchewan. It's just this one made you know, the East Coast they can do the same. They put a you could have medical exemption. Medical exemptions mean nothing to people.
We've had medical exemption here as well, but that's ending in December. So we'll have to adhere to the rules that they've stated, I think.
Yeah, people's medical conditions don't change, you know,
Exactly.
that easily. So that means that in 3 months, my medical exemption, it will. That's it. But by medical standards, and they don't care.
No. Yeah, I really agree. They don't care. To be honest, the people who are exempt obviously don't matter to them because they are ending the exemption, certainly for us, in December. So that means that what we won't be able to enter all these places. We'll have to adhere by the vaccination passport situation, and if we haven't got that, then we ain't going anywhere near any of those places. And nothing against the person that said this comment the other day. I really like him, but he said that he agreed with maybe banning people from even being in public who weren't going to be vaccinated, and that is a decent, outlook on what some people's viewpoint is.
Who said that?
I don't think it really matters, Master Ron, and it certainly wasn't meant in a nasty way. It was just his belief, and that is, like I say, obviously a realistic, common enough belief by people.
Yeah, true.
Twisted as fuck.
When you start banning people from walking down the block just because they don't have a vaccine, you're going to have a war.
It is a war, isn't it? You know.
It's
I think that's what they
right
want
now here in North America. Yeah, and it's coming.
And they've got the the facilities to win that kind of war if it's a one person at a time. And I'm not saying we need to rise up, but we need to rise up. You know. We've been trying to rise up legally against this shit, and it's not been working. We've been trying to rise up socially against this shit, and it's not been working. We've tried to protest against this shit, and it hasn't been working. We've tried to reason with people, and it's not been working. And we've tried to talk about our rights, and it's not been working. I mean, I could go on like this all night, but we all know I'm right. You know, it's not getting anywhere.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Nothing is getting anywhere. Every single positive comment on social media or the mainstream media is buried under a pile of endless amounts of shit from the mainstream media or like other media outlets. It's just, there's not enough. And they put spin on it as well and convince people that it was a load of crap, and you know. And yes, Maria, what happens when we're cornered? Well, you know what happens when an animal is cornered?
Yeah.
It ends up having to lash out, and then we fall into their trap. Then they can treat us with the most contempt that they want to, I imagine. Because we're being treated with those that are against this with contempt anyway.
Yeah.
This is the world we are
in. See, and this coincides with what we're finding out in the UK is that they're not just into the police force, they're not just recruiting people with violent offenders. We're also finding out that they're recruiting people with sexual offenders. And we also know in Australia, None Your Business, he's put up a bit on his channel that the police and the court system and security people are all exempt from having this vaccine. In other words, they're going to be the fit ones. We're obviously going to be able to downtrod the people who aren't compliant.
Now, how can that be scientific?
Yeah, exactly.
There
is no science behind that.
So that government employees don't have to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Well, in Australia, yeah, in Australia, I don't know if you follow a guy called None Your Business. He's an Australian guy, and he put on his channel only a couple of days ago that he'd found out that like I said, the police, security, your normal, these security firms, which seem to be spouting up all over the bloody place, you see them, and also the judges, and all of them, they're all exempt, basically from everything. It's only
Yeah.
the common people. So that's happening in Canada. That's happening in Australia. It's like, hang on a minute, there's something going to be tying up here, and yeah. And then we're knowing that not only violent ex-criminals are able to join the police force, they've actually got a criminal record, but also they're taking in the dredges of the dredge, and that is sexual offenders as well, because they will do the government's bidding. And that's basically what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
The worst of the worst.
And put them on the street and give them a gun.
Yeah.
So the Canadians have already been fighting.
That's it. Yeah,
And they wonder
we've.
why.
Sorry, Ash.
Have a target on them.
No, I'm not getting half of that. Are you, SG?
Yeah, you have to repeat. Sorry, I didn't get it either.
They have a target on them.
Oh, wow.
They hire stupid cops and the law, and they just bend over and just follow Nazis.
Just doing their job.
So
See, I stand by what I always say. There's no such thing as a good police officer, because they are doing the government bidding instead of doing the will of the people. It's that's how I've had this discussion with SG. I can
They're not supposed to
understand
be
people.
political.
Yeah, exactly. It's an own private. It's their own private army.
The
That's
PCS,
what
two
governments.
PCSOs that Bear Britain spoke to earlier, that I was there and filmed as well, they said that they have to be impartial and avoid political comments and so forth. So they
But they're
know
political. Yeah.
what they're supposed to do. But I imagine if they're ordered to do something, they're going to have to fucking well do it, aren't they?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Wow.
I got to take. But it's been nice talking with you, and I will see you soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yeah. You take care of yourself over there, Ash. Wow.
Yep.
You couldn't make this up.
No, it's like some kind of dystopian movie, nightmare, horror, thriller.
Wow. It's giving me a headache. Fucking hell.
Do you know what? The only thing that keeps me going is Michael O'Byrne's theorem, the freedom fighters. If it wasn't for them, I think we were fucked.
And if he hadn't have joined, we wouldn't have had the outlook from him, and he is in Canada.
In Canada, that's right.
Bless his heart.
Yo. That's now you can really understand why Fluke, because that's what I mean. There's a bit of, when Fluke wasn't able to express what he's trying to say and everything, and Dino was talking about the bitchiness of some guy in the chat and everything. I thought, oh fuck it. Yeah, I thought it ain't worth, because Fluke ain't going to be able to express what he's on about. I saw that straight away, so I thought, fuck it. I'll see if you knew anything about it. You know what I mean?
I knew nothing about it, but now obviously we've had a look.
Yeah. And that's what Fluke was trying to put over. You know, this is fucking important.
Yep. I mean, if I just do this again, here we are. So the by order of the Lieutenant Governor, the Lieutenant Governor. That's high enough. Obviously, it's high enough. You know.
So that
I
again.
don't think it's good. By order of the Lieutenant Governor, who's in council. I mean, that is high enough.
Yeah. See, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that don't worry people
Oh,
by
I've
that
got an audio clip.
around, then nothing's gonna worry them.
So it's hard for me to understand you. It's going to be like this for about 2 minutes, but you can please carry on and talk. And hello to Queen Bee Audits. Thank you for checking in and show support. Awesome. Thank you.
Hello, Queen Bee. I don't know what to say. You know it's gonna. You know that if it's like us. If one city in England had it, you know it's going to follow itself around. You know it's going to become an order of the whole country. So basically, they're starting there in Canada. It's going to go across Canada. So the whole of Canada is going to be under that, under whatever. Right, this is just one constituency has got it, and then it'll be the next constituency, and that's total control of Canada. Yeah.
I've probably got another minute or two to wait till it's cleared the audio. It's a Master Ron show, so go with it.
Oh, no, I can hear you. No, oh, right, you left it to me, have you?
Well, we
Please.
kind of said it all. They can do whatever the hell they want, can't they? Like I say, they
Yeah.
can bend them over, they can twist them around, split them in, splay them, flay the skin from their bodies, whatever the hell they want, as long as it's been deemed so needed by the minister.
Yeah, the powers that be. And
Just read that A again. Put into operation any emergency plan or program that the minister considers appropriate.
yeah, exactly. In other words, he's got a blank piece of paper and he can write whatever the fuck he likes. And there you go. This is it.
If anyone has been sitting on the fence right now, then they should look at this. In fact, as Blue Dog said, Blue Dog said, and somebody was arguing in that chat with Dino's chat saying, it's Canada, that's not here. I'm sorry, but there is one proof during the last 20 months that, I mean, it literally proved every single day with every single allocated restriction and idea that all the governments have had, that they are definitely in line with each other. So if it doesn't seem like it's in line yet, it bloody well will soon.
Yeah.
So it is a global situation that we are in, and every single restriction and plan or declaration of emergency of authority that works in any country will be undertaken in all the others.
Yeah, if it's happening in Canada, you know it's coming to you.
To be honest, the way I look at it is, if it works somewhere, if they get away with it, basically, then they'll try it somewhere else.
Exactly.
I mean, if it doesn't work and they don't get away with it, then why would they bother with it anywhere else? You know, only go with what works. I can imagine Boris now. Yes, how's the yeah, those Canadians? Yes. How's it? Oh, it's going good, is it? Right. Yes. Oh, keep an eye on that. Yes, we'll possibly do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a good impression, but I was trying.
No, you did a good enough impression, mate.
He's a blithering idiot. I wouldn't trust him to sell me a car, and I've bought some bad cars, including this one. Even though I like the car, it needs some work more than I thought it did. So I wouldn't even trust Boris to sell me a car, you know.
Hmm.
And that's saying something. It really is. It's beyond words, isn't it?
I feel sorry for the people that are living in that constituency.
I feel sorry for every single person on this planet that is having to
Hmm.
undergo any type of restrictions that don't allow them to be free. Because I'll tell you what we're not seeing, right, is what's happening in other countries, really, are we? It's a complete, um, mainstream media blackout to do with other countries, pretty much. It's a blackout to do with what's happening in our own countries, right?
But that's what I mean is that we know nothing of what's going on in that province where it's
Yeah,
all beginning from. So wow. I'm gonna have to go on Ockeyes if he's gonna be doing a live. Hopefully he'll do a live soon. Because
who's that?
Ockeyes in Canada. Ockeye.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a minute. I'm a mod on your thing, aren't I?
Yep.
So I'll be able to put it in your
Whatever the
stream.
hell you want.
Yeah. Right. Let's have a look. Right. I'll put Ockeyes page up for you, and anybody else who may be interested. He's a Canadian. I can't remember exactly where he lives in Canada, but he is on quite a lot. Let's have a look. My chat. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Get that in there. Right. That should come up. His link. That's it. That's Okai's link. He lives in Canada.
Hmm.
So yeah, you want to get on his live stream as well. I will get on his live stream at some point, and anybody else, and he might have some more insight or some
Right.
filtered down information. You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
obviously, like we said, I haven't got a clue. You haven't got a clue, and more likely anybody who's listening hasn't got a clue what's actually going on in that province, let alone anywhere else. But he may
Yep.
have heard something. He might know somebody in that area. I do not know.
Well, yeah.
But at, but at least he might have more of a chance of finding out. He might already know all this. More likely does. I'm sure he
I
does.
imagine he would.
Surely. Yeah. Wow. What a fucking headache.
Oh, here we are. Right. I'm just. I don't think I've got him added, but I will do in a second. There we are. Subscribed.
Yeah. he does he doesn't do he isn't an auditor or anything like that. He just does live streams and he chats to people all over the country. He's a regular on independent, indies,
I
independent
think I've
free
seen
press.
him. He joined.
Yeah,
He joined us night yesterday. Was it day before?
the
Uh,
last, yeah, he was on there. Well, he was on there
Film Boys
today,
was it?
I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Called it in
Independence.
Holland. Yeah. Oh, well, right.
And yeah, I believe he was because that's why I left Hulls
I
to
was
quickly
going to
get
go
over
on
there. But
Independence, but Independent was kind of going on about some troll they'd got in there, so I couldn't be asked.
nah, all right.
I
I
mean, I
did
don't
go
blame
over
him for
for it.
some troll being in his chat, but
All right. Yeah, I did come off because usually but he went off early or something. I don't know, so I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
catch any of it. But yeah,
And there's
I'm gonna have to get yeah, that's it. Okay.
yeah.
He does live streams, so I'm gonna have to catch him at some point, or you do, and have a chat with
Mhm.
him. He's a nice guy.
I'm going to make
Um,
sure I've got that I notification bell on all, which it already is. There, yeah.
mhm. Yeah, that's what I do.
Is there a no? I was going to say, is there a email address, but there isn't. Okay. Mhm.
I, it's a
Hmm.
pity we can't get in touch with Fluke and get him involved in
Yeah,
these
I know. Yeah.
conversations. Yeah,
Um, I don't know if he actually subbed to me or not, Fluke Dog.
yeah. What you have to do is one time go on Dino's, or if I
Yeah.
can get on Dino's, and
If,
when
if you
Fluke's on there.
if you want my email, I can certainly put it in the chat right now because it is on my channel. I believe,
Is it?
but it is. Yeah, it's just on my channel thing. If I just click on my
Oh,
channel, where is it? The channel, and then about there it is.
all
And
right. Yeah.
I'll just zoom it in. Hold on.
Gotcha. Okay, then. Yeah, I'll be able to get you on the. Yeah, no problem. Cheers.
Yeah, no problem. And that is available for anyone to contact me on those.
Okay, then. Yeah. Wow.
I have not really received any emails yet, so nobody really has noticed.
No, I'll definitely. I'll drop you an email at some point within the next 24 hours.
No
Hello,
worries.
Carl Foster. Have you
Hello,
just
Carl.
did you hear what see the paperwork that SG's just read out for
Yeah, I
Canada?
would. I'm obviously not going to go through it again because I've already gone through it, and it's easy to go and watch the video again. But I can
Hmm.
certainly bring up some important points on it. Hold on, I've got it here, which I do. Let me just go back. Here we are.
I think we need your good vibes and everything,
Yes,
Carl.
please. We haven't got an answer for this. It's like some kind of dystopian nightmare horror movie. So if you do want to join, you'd be very welcome. Is it raining?
See, I want to tell my kids that this shit, but
No,
every
I know
single
it's
time,
difficult.
yeah, every single time, like the last time we saw our son and his partner, Maria Moon just mentioned a little thing,
Mhm.
and she ended up crying. I our family's very hard to try to, apart from one of our daughters, she will listen, but the others, they don't really want to hear it, do they?
No, and even then
And
she's got
that's the
mental
problem.
health issues, so we
Well,
couldn't
let's
tell
just
Yeah,
her.
say
so
that the only time my family, which is my parents, basically, because I do have a brother, but my parents have listened to me or questioned what the government have said about any of this shit in the last 20 months is just yesterday and today, because even though they've just had their booster and their third their third jab, which is booster, yeah,
yeah,
and they've had their flu jab, they both got a bad cold or flu or whatever,
yeah,
and it's the first time that anything,
yeah,
like I say, repeating myself, but it's the first time they're like questioning, because
yeah.
I
My
haven't
mum's,
had any jabs and I haven't got a cold at all.
yeah, my mum's having her booster jab in a few days as well, but
Yeah,
there's no talking her out of it.
same with mine. I mean, even if right, there's no problems with the jabs. Yeah, they're not working very
Hmm.
fucking well, are they?
Exactly. All you're
So what's
having
the
is
fucking
some,
point?
yeah, you're just having some thing pumped into your
Yeah,
system, not knowing what that
failing. Who
something
gives a shit
is
what?
going to do. Yeah.
It ain't working. I mean,
So
it was stated a long, long, long time ago, again and again and again, and recently, like, before 20 months ago, anyway, that there will never be a a cure for the common cold or flu.
no,
No cures. You can have a jab to maybe get it a bit if there's a particular strain, but as we know, there's more than like 100,000 possible strains of whatever out there at any time of each of strain. Sorry,
I,
uh, mutations of each strain that's out there. Let's get it right.
yeah, I was in a heated debate earlier on somebody's channel with somebody who was on that person's channel,
Hmm.
and it shocked me. Something did that a 12-year-old in that area has to have the vaccine, otherwise they cannot go to school.
Yeah, yeah. This is what
Has to.
we're finding now. Yep, they're absolutely saying that. Yeah, but of course, I'm just going to do the disclaimer that what we're talking about here is our opinions, not advice for anyone. Certainly not medical advice. This is just our opinions on what our, you know, interpretation of what we see in the world is.
Yes,
Because if we
yes.
don't do this, someone's going to run off and go, "I've been influenced," and we don't want that. We really don't, want people
No,
influenced wrongly. We're
no,
just having a conversation here.
yeah. And if you want to find out things, you go and find out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Now, Cole Foster says your mind state keeps you healthy and natural immune system, if you ask me. And I'll tell you what I said to, I think I mentioned this the other day. I've said to a doctor and a couple of nurses, and they couldn't argue with me. I said, you don't get good health, from a syringe. You don't get good health from a syringe, and they couldn't argue. Good health is what you eat, what you come into contact with, and just like Carl said, your state of mind and your natural immune system. Yeah. I I just don't know the answer to try and get through to people. I've tried and tried and tried,
yeah,
but I really can't.
yeah. I've You know, well, when we
I'm not
last
saying I
saw our
divorce.
son, what's
I
that?
don't know how.
See, for me, I turned around and said to my son when Maria Moon got upset and everything, and I said, "Well, I'm looking at other things as well as just the one thing, so, but I'll let you ask me. I'm not going to tell you. You have to ask me if you want to know what I've found out, you know."
Yeah.
So I've left the door open for him. So if he wants to ask, he can ask, but I won't sort of preach at him because just
People don't
saying a
want to be
couple of
free.
words. What's
I'll
that,
tell you
mate?
what. In the last couple of decades, yeah, including myself, nobody likes to be preached to, and that is what I've been
Exactly.
accused of doing just
Hmm.
lately, preaching to people, and that's never what I've tried to do. But the point is, I've ended up having to be passionate about it, and I have sounded like I'm preaching when all I'm doing is trying to get a point across. We all sound like flute dogs sometimes,
Yeah,
and that's a
but
positive point I'm making. We are passionate about our shit. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he sounds in any way bad.
well, what does Flute Dog say at the end of every single one? Don't take my word for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Research it yourself, and that's it. That's what you
I've
say.
changed it to be your own fact checker.
Yeah, and this form basically is what Flute Dog was on about. Go now, read it yourself.
Yeah, and this live is an hour and 7 minutes long, but the initial readout didn't take too long, I don't think.
No.
And you can pause it and read it yourself or whatever. I think I went slow enough for that.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
And zoomed in
also
enough. Yeah, we can read that, can't we?
yeah. It see, this is the scary part of it is that they're not hiding the fact what they're wanting, what they are going to do or doing. They're not hiding. This ain't cloak and dagger stuff. This isn't like, twitchy curtains and all this fucking
Do,
bullshit.
do you want me to tell
They're
you?
doing it in.
Oh, yeah, they're doing
What's
it
that?
broad, goddamn daylight is what you were going to say, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They're doing it. Here you go. This is what we're doing. What are you going to fucking do about it? You're not going to do nothing because we're going to take control of you.
Well, I'll tell you what I had the other day, right? And this is how people are now. I mentioned the one person who said that people shouldn't go out if they haven't had the jibby jabby. Okay,
Yeah.
so so my close friend, who I've always trusted and treated with equality, absolutely, and there are some choices he's made in his life where people don't always treat him with neutrality, yeah, and equality, and I have, and he's just lost a couple of friends to the COVID, a COVID, yeah.
Hmm.
And he says now people should, and this was he put it on my post on Facebook, which I removed after because I didn't want the argument with him. But he was obviously feeling bad, and it had hit home. And he'd gone the other way. I thought he was going to come round, but he'd gone the other way. What he said was, people now need to start being responsible. And I know that was aimed at me. Else, why would
Yeah.
he have posted it on my post on Facebook? So but he knows that I haven't had any jabs. So I need to, be responsible, obviously.
Yeah, that's how they're trying to. Excuse me. That's what their plan is.
Mm.
You are hearing more and more people. We've had it. Who was it? That said,
Brinkman
it
said
would
something
be,
similar about that.
yeah, that it would be our faults, people like us.
Mm. Well, the thing is, I've said many a time, if you've had the stab, right, then what's the worry?
Yeah, yeah. Why are you worried about it?
Yeah,
Did you hear?
oh,
Did you hear
because
the
you can
letter
still
that?
contract it, you know.
Yeah. Did you hear when I told on Film Boys about a letter that Maria Moon got?
I think so, yes. But just
The
remind me and
government,
everyone.
the government. It's a government official letter. I won't use certain words, but we haven't had the dibbity dib.
Stab.
Yep, one of those. We ain't been pricked, whatever way you want to call it. Uh, and so Maria Moon received a letter. I haven't yet, but I'd expect one in the post eventually.
Hmm.
Anyway, it states that if we know somebody or members of the family who've had the prick, uh, we have to keep away from them for 14 days. After those 14 days, if we wish to see those people have to have the swabbies. Then those same people who've had the swabbies, whenever they're going to be in contact with us, they have to also wear a nappy to protect us from them.
Yeah, it sounds so scientific, doesn't it? So
So,
freaking scientific.
so please, anybody out there that could explain that to me, how backwards that is after what the government are telling the people on mainstream media, please explain that, because so far it isn't just us who's received the letter. There are other people who've received the letter. Before you start saying, oh, it's a load of bullshit, believe me, it isn't bullshit. That they are sending these letters out to people haven't been pricked, and this is what it says: is that who's got to beware of who?
Mm.
Mainstream media ain't telling you that, but the government is. So you got to say to
Here's
yourself,
one.
well,
Here's one.
which part is true?
Mainstream media, right? Mainstream media have the control of the public. We are that controlled by the public. We are waiting for the next words of the mainstream media in general, in majority. And even when we're not, we can't help but follow whatever the hell they say. When they say things like, I mean, it's proven to us when they say things like there's actually a fuel crisis when there isn't, and then we cause one.
Yeah.
That proves that we are under the thumb of the mainstream media, even though we don't want to be.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I got into this debate with the guy with the 12-year-old, you know, having to have,
Stabbing, yeah.
yeah, being stabbed. And he was saying about cargo ships, the reason these cargo ships couldn't moor up because of the sea, and I mean the letter C,
Yep.
and it's that and the rest of it. And so I said, how do you know this? He said, mainstream media. I thought, you sounded like an intelligent guy until you recited mainstream media and government. Yeah, that's it. You
And
know, I
calling it
thought,
mainstream media as well is a bad idea.
yeah, it's like,
The only
hang
time
on
you
a
call it
minute.
mainstream media is if you're going to diss that rubbish thing, you know?
Yeah, because that's when I went into. I said, well, explain this to me. A couple of weeks ago, they were saying we had a shortage of fuel. We had a shortage of tanker drivers and everything. I said, but there wasn't a shortage of fuel. There wasn't a shortage of tanker drivers. There was 40,000 people who turned up for their test to pass their test, which were cancelled. There's X amount of thousands of people waited to even start their lessons in March. Is there an
40,000
emergency
was it?
going on? 40,000 people turned up for their test.
It
When was
actually
it?
went from
Last
30 to 40 in like 2-3 weeks.
40,000 it was. It was Reverend Simon Sideways, who's turned around and said it was 40,000 people turned up for their test in September, and they weren't even told. They turned up for them and they were cancelled. 40,000 people. Oh, but there's a shortage of drivers.
Yeah, you see, I looked into that slightly because I thought, well, maybe I can be a driver. There's a job I might be
Yeah.
able to do. Maybe, I don't know, do something
But
during
you'd
this
have to
shift.
wait until March to even start the lessons.
Yep.
You couldn't make this stuff up. You really couldn't.
It shows how orchestrated this is, in my view.
Yeah. Because, and it's they ain't hiding it. This is it, but people don't.
We
They
are
sit in
being
front of their
played like a Judy menuing.
they're sitting in front of their TV sets, watching their come dancing, fucking Coronation Street, bloody EastEnders, and all this
Yeah.
bullshit. And then they tune into mainstream media at the same time during the breaks between one program to another fucking program. That's what's happening.
I'm just about to welcome. Well,
Hello,
welcome,
Carl.
Hello, mate.
Hello, Carl.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, I've just got to say, if I had asked you,
Hi.
not only are you listening to the news as it, but in between you've got the adverts, which is bombarding you with negativity, and then when you're watching the soap, that's all got propaganda in it now. There's bloody all sorts going on, little subliminals to stress you out as well. I mean, I love a little bit of drama on the telly, a good but it started to change, mate. It really has changed.
It's changed so much. Have you noticed how if you do watch the news, right? It starts with the news and it goes, okay, here are our points of the day which are appearing, and you get like a 5-second snippet, and you get another 5-second snippet of the important bits or something like that, and then they will repeat that
bombardment,
double 5-second snippets again and again and again and again. And if you're watching, say, ITV, you'll get it 3 times before the advert, 3 times after the advert.
Here's a little message that this is what they're playing at, SG. Repetition is the mother of success, and I know this works. Like, so that's what they're doing.
Repetition is also the easiest form of mind control and brain washing.
Yeah, you betcha. I mean, even going back to the Teletubbies, why do you think they repeat it a couple of times? Because it sticks in the mind, and the badly bang on. It's all MPL training. They don't let you know this stuff because they're up to it themselves, mate. On us mass. Yeah. Heavy. Master on. I agree. I forgot what. I come on to tell you my little story about listen to this for hip foxes. Only if I won't break the chat, but when you're ready, I've got a little story that was a bit online with what was going on there, and I said I'll get on in a minute.
Do it whenever you want. Absolutely ready
All
for
right,
it.
I'll cut into it now, mate. What it was, we was I was in the gym, right? I haven't had my jabs, but anyway, I said, oh well, I'm exempt from wearing a mask, and I am. I've got a doctor's note, and Alison has. And they said, this fella in there, and he goes, yeah, well, I worked in a test site, and he was just he was being dead funny with me, and he said, this is what'll happen is we'll have a great big red danger area, an emergency area, and he'll track it down from country to country down, and he'll find out it's coming from the gym, as if dead nasty, as if to say you're full of disease sort of thing.
Wow.
So that wound me up, and I thought and I was just about to rip into him and give him what for, but he got off and left it on that note, before I had the chance. I was quite stunned, actually, but this was after going back after all this. And then, not 5 seconds later, mate, there's a woman who works there, right? And she said, I seen Alison suffers with things, you know. I'm a carer. She was giving him, I could see she was defending herself, and she was backed into a corner. She only went in because she was walking around the back, and the woman knows her and said, "Oh, do you want to sit in here on the side, Alison?" Anyway, she went right into it about all the heavy stuff, and I could see was Alison was saying he can't have it because of his heart, his tablets is on me. And she was having none of it. And then I come up and I said, what's everything all right, like, or what? And she goes, you want to be careful in here. This is what they're like. You are going in there. You've got to be a lot more careful coming in here. As if I'm going to cough over everyone and I'm full of disease. I had a cold back not long ago off that horrible manager, Bella, but I got back. I didn't go over there when I was full of cold. And no, you can pass colds on. So that's just common sense before all this. But anyway, she said, you want to watch it, what you're doing. I said, look, I won't say her name because I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to go into trouble. But yeah, but I said, look, just draw a line on this, mate, because we were friends, and if you want to go down this avenue, you're not on. You know what's going. Anyway, we waiting outside, and she goes, this is what she said to me in the gym. My husband's really ill in bed with COVID, and there's people like you know, I know the way it goes, don't you? Anyway, we're waiting outside. Guess who comes to pick her up? Husband. All right, love, you're all right. And she goes, yeah, you're all right, love, you're all. And he went, yeah, why? And she goes, oh, you know. And she knew she'd gone down her own. And she got in and she was all waves, bye, bye. And I thought, what a hypocrite, you know what I mean? She's going on about me. And I just thought, I'd get on and get that off my chest. Oh, isn't it heavy out there for us guys?
It's people seem to be getting high off of a power trip.
They love it, Master Ron.
It's a power trip. You love it. You see them with their nappies on. Like I was at the hospital today, and you notice them, don't you? So many of them, and they look around at you and everything. I noticed it. You smile, and all they do is glare at you as if to say, who are you? What are you?
Sinister stuff, mate, going on. Yeah, very sinister.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They do. They sort of go as if I'm superior to, and it's a power trip.
Do you know what gets my heart, Ron? It is a power trip. They're not going with it. They're going with it because it gives them the authority they've always craved over domination. You know what I mean? Over the situation. They thrive off it.
If they feel threatened also, which they probably will, they'll feel that fear, and the only probably way they can deal with it is to stomp on somebody else to make them feel better. A lot of people do that, don't they?
Well, or the bully becomes the bully, doesn't it?
Or it could be the prick. We've come across, like, our daughters, since one of our daughters had the prick. She's only had it once.
Mine
but
has, mate. I couldn't do nothing about it. Like,
did she get aggressive? Did she get aggressive? You know, sort of in your face, sort of.
It got to the point. Well, she moved to London, and I was trying to warn her and everything. And you know what? When I come back, I met her in town, Liverpool, and I said, she said, she'd never had her ears pierced, and said, I've got my ears pierced. And the first thing I had to ask was, I said, is that the only thing you've got pierced? And she went, I've had it. And my stomach just hit the floor, mate. I've never had anything. And she said, Dad, don't let's spoil your situation. And I had to pick myself up, but I tell you what, mate. And I said, don't have any more, you know, you don't have to have any more. And she goes, and I could see that she was, there's been a reaction there, mate, and she won't tell me. I just got onto the body language because you know your own flesh and blood, and that. And I just thought, she's not telling me the full picture. Something has happened with the first one or something. And I said, don't. And she goes, and she went, I know. As if to say, I know. But there's something she's not telling me, mate. Because I'm not allowed to talk about it. She got to the point where I was worried I'd not see her no more because I was watching Alderton and I was not having none of it from the start. Right from the... I mean, years ago, Inside Out, when people were trying, I just blank it, mate. And I don't know what it was. That's my gut reaction. Someone told me ages ago, well, a very, very wise fella who I'm a very good friend with in I don't see him as much as I should, but he's in the gym, and he said to me, well, you know what? I said I was terrified with the mad cow's disease, right? Because going back to when I was young, and there was a big stink, and I had to say sausage rolls every day for coming home for me dinner. And they were saying in the sausage rolls, you'd be really susceptible to it if you've been eating them. And you know, that was propaganda on the telly. And Damien just said to me, isn't it pork and sausage rolls? But that's how much you get kidded. It wasn't even beef. And I didn't even think till he said to me all these years later, isn't that pork?
Yeah.
And also he said, and I said, what do you think about all this? What's going on? And he goes, it's normal. Because it is complete. If you take that telly away and all this bicker back and this, that, the other, go out to nature, mate. It's completely normal. If people acted, they're saying normal, but as we were, like, you know, or but it's.
I think I understand what you're saying, and it's been translated to me by people by saying, if you go out and have a look around, do you see anything different with the world than what it was like, 2 years ago? Because I don't.
I don't, mate, and I haven't.
Bill Hicks used to say, you watch the news, and this is like 1994, right? 1992 and stuff like that. And he used to say, he's in America, and he'd say, yeah, I watch the news, and it says that, I'm going to be bitten by a rabid, AIDS-infected pit bull if I open the door. And I look out the window, and there's just like, crickets and tumbleweeds blowing past.
Yeah.
Where's all this shit happening? I really don't know. It's not my world.
A friend of mine, when I was worried about what another things they worried me with, they said it was what's that? That the bug that was round ages ago or something, and he said, I don't know, was it swine flu, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I said, mad cow disease, whichever.
Yeah. Well, I
Or
said,
bird flu.
I said, what do you think of this? What do you think of this, Joey? All this going on? He goes, lad, I lived through the 60s, mate, and if you can imagine the fear they put into us with that nuclear bomb, and everyone, you have to go in your shelter and paint yourself silver and all this. He said, I give up with it back then, mate, once I knew that was like that. And it stuck with me, and I thought, this was going back years. And, if you've been through that one, it's imagine the fear around it, then with all that as well, like we're all going to be blown to bits in no time.
That's what we grew up in, during, the fear of nuclear war.
Do you remember that cartoon that they brought out as like basically an information film called Anywhere the Wind Blows, was it?
Yeah.
Scary shit that was.
It was done. So it was done in a special way, wasn't it? It was
very arty.
I just passed on the soundtrack to that film. Actually, I sold that one. Yeah, I've been selling a few because we don't all the help that was there because I'm looking after Alison. It's really hard to get any help. So luckily I've got my record collection. I can move it on at little bits and just get rid of the odd ones and that and keep myself afloat. I'm dead lucky. Like, I'm really lucky. Got them all for next to nothing as well when we were on the market for nothing.
Yeah, I was saying to SG, I won't say whose live it is, and I'm not going to say whose I was having the debate with, but I think you as in the chat.
I think I might have seen it, Ron. I did see it, man. Yeah.
So I wasn't going to join it. I was not going to join it until the guy turned around and said about the sixth grade girl. And I asked, what age is sixth grade? And I think it's 10 or 12 years old. That's when I thought, I need to go on here and find out what the fuck, because this is in America. And I was saying to SG that the schools there are mandating that the child of that age has to have the jab, whatever you want to call it, stab.
Yeah, well, call it what it is, vaccination. I don't give a shit.
I'd have to get. I didn't know you could get your daughter out of school, but I'd have to be definitely thinking about that. Amy would have loved getting out of school. She's done well there as well, though.
But yeah,
do
I
think-
tell you what, I would have liked that too. Yeah.
Yeah, me too,
because
mate, all day long.
I wasn't going on there. I wasn't going to go on there at all. I was just going to stay in chat and just listen to, the conversations and everything, But as soon as I heard that, I
Personally,
thought, what? A
yeah,
child?
personally, Ron, I would have had a lot more respect for Master Rom than was shown on that one there, but that's me, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it when he brought a sexual deviation into the
Spots of it,
conversation.
mate.
I thought, hang on, that's why I had to put my phone down. I thought, I'm not going to
That's
respond
it,
to this.
mate.
I'll put it down
Now it's
for a
on
minute.
It's on Master
Put it
Ron's
down.
terms, mate. It's on Master Ron's terms. Don't you forget that, mate. Always be
Mhm.
yourself, and I love that about you, mate. Always.
Yeah. No, I thought I had to put the phone down because I thought, why are you bringing that subject into this subject?
Yeah, I don't want to be a part
Yeah.
of this sort of. Yeah, I get it,
No.
mate. You know what I mean? No,
Mhm.
it's true. Like, don't want to be associated with certain things. You don't have to be. Do you know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
That's it.
it's gone off topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good that
Well,
you addressed it, mate, like a trooper there, mate. You know what I mean?
but see, I never see. It isn't me that comes out with it. Like I talk to SG. SG feeds me things. I hear things, so I look into it myself. Or you got Fluke Dog. He says things. I take in bits and pieces from people. Plus, I look into certain things and what have you myself.
Yeah.
So it isn't really me, it's a consortment of people that I chat to where I get the
Yeah, you do.
information from.
It's
And
great
if I
you get.
haven't, yeah, if I don't know exactly what it's about, like I said to SG earlier on about this paper, and SG got hold of it and he said, right, I'm going to do a live on this piece of paper. So then I could understand what the fuck
Yeah,
is
it's
all
a good
this about,
idea.
which Luke was trying
Mhm.
to put over the other night, which he was stopped from putting over. You know what I mean? And I thought that was a
Luckily, you
shame because
mentioned
that
the
needed to be
important
said.
journal of what the hell it was, so that I
Yeah,
could find it myself. Yeah.
yeah. And like that would have made that show, I would have thought,
Worthwhile.
more informational than the rest of the bollocks that was going on it. More than likely.
It's amazing how many people don't want to know, though, isn't it, Master
It
Ron?
is.
It's amazing. It's amazing how you could just think they just put the bloody barrier up straight away, and there's no need to. Is there? Just open it
I
a bit
know.
at least. Yeah, but they don't want it. They'd rather argue about not wanting to know than knowing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
this isn't a popular like belief system, but you know when the three podium government officials started at 20 months ago, standing there with the three podiums, and
Yeah,
it's like
all
save
that.
the
Yeah,
NHS and all that shit, yeah, and they start spouting their crap, right? I felt like running up. While it's going on and it's live or whatever, I run up, shaking them by the shoulders, right, and going, look, dudes, it's a ride. This existence is like a ride. It goes up and down and left and right, and it gets scary, but it's just a ride. And if it crashes and we all die, then it crashes and we all die.
it's mad how much power they've got on them podiums
Yeah,
through that television box, isn't it?
it
It's
is.
just
Yeah,
people just will not take common sense into consideration. They'll just it's got to the point where they're just going. And you know what about this news? They don't just listen to it once. I mean, like, I've done it myself,
they
mate, in
can't
the
help it. I
past.
mean, have
It's
you ever
first thing in the
watched
morning.
24 hours of news? It's 20
Yeah,
minutes of news repeated.
should be supplied with razor blades, mate. I tell you, it's that nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know how else to put it after that. That's brilliant.
Proper miserable, innit?
Yeah. Or it should be you should be given like antidepressant with it.
Yeah. Well, if they're gonna go down that avenue, you're
At
gonna
least
need
the
it.
Nazis used shock treatment. You get a bit of like niciness. and
I
then you
believe
get the
there's
nastiness, and then you get the niciness, and then you get the nastiness.
The niciness isn't even nice enough, though, is it? You know
No
what I mean?
niciness, no.
There's not enough niciness, but we know that.
there's a C 24-hour news, isn't there? Sky do it 24-hour C
Yeah,
news.
Yeah.
they're all at it like it. Well, when it's late hours and you wake up and you could do with some positivity, put that on and you're done for.
I don't,
You see,
I
I said,
don't understand it.
I don't understand it either, Master Ron. You know, I said to someone the other day, in fact, it was my parents, I said, you watch this news, it's 20 minutes repeated for 24 hours, yeah? That's not a news channel. I would say you could have at least 100 news channels covering different subject news from all around the world. In fact, maybe even from just this country. And we could go through a massive list of all those potential news channels, yeah, and they could have different things on from hour 1 to hour 24 of every goddamn day, and
We're
different
getting a
things
lot.
every day for a part of the week, and you could still not cover what you needed to cover for a news set of channels that you just couldn't cover. There's not enough time to cover the news. How can they dare for a split second get away with putting 20 minutes of news on and repeat it? How are people not standing up and going, oi, I've had enough of this shit? I mean, what was it, that Harry Enfield guy? Oi, no!
Yeah.
You've got
Not
to stand
having it.
back, haven't you? Stand back and
You
you'll
know,
see what's going on. The more you stand
yeah,
back from him, then you go back to it and then you see it. You see it's when you're in that everyday hypnosis. It's a trance thing, mate. It's putting you on a negative track. And if you're doing it every day, it's pretty powerful stuff on your subconscious. Very powerful.
it is.
As
And,
with anything, you always get more of what you focus on, you see. And if
we
you're
become
focusing on that crap,
institutionalized, don't we? Tunnel vision.
yeah, badly. And
It's like,
we're getting.
see,
Sorry.
what I like about live streams as well, it's like I said, I like to go and speak to Wakai. He's in Canada, and I like to go on Film Boys because you get to speak to Americans, and Indies one, you get to speak to people in Australia and America. Plus, if you go on to Dino's, then you got Mark from New Zealand and what have you. I like to be able to speak to people from around the world. Well,
I do.
on one channel, yeah, exactly. You get that's how I get my news of what's
I love
happening.
giving a good impression of our country as well. Do you know? So if you're talking to someone else, you like to make them welcome, give a good impression. I love that. If anyone comes to Liverpool, I'll go out and they're not from Liverpool and they're in the gym. I'll say, "Oh, can I help you?" I'll probably get on the bloody nerves, but I don't know. But I love to say, "Oh, have you seen the offers? If there's any offers, let them know and make them feel dead. I'll come and be, oh, how are you finding everyone nice? You know, give a good impression, not a bad one. You know what I mean?"
Yeah, we are all ambassadors for our country, aren't we?
Yeah, and our little towns or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I once had. I think they were either Canadian or American. It was way before I knew the difference between the accents. And,
some lovely people.
Yeah, and there I was in Stafford with my Staffordshire Bull Terrier at the time, and he said, "Is that a pit bull?" And I said, "No, it's a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, but I believe that these dogs were taken across on the ships, and that's where eventually the American bull was, was bred from, partly." Was the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and he said, "Where are they originated from?" And I went, "Well, they originated from this town that you're standing in, Staffordshire Bull Terrier." And he's like, "Oh, right." And I went into explaining, the history of the uses of the dog as well as,
Did the sausage dog come from the police headquarters? I'm only joking. The sausage dog.
I was on this live stream, and this guy who was a stabber had 2 stabs so far and waiting for his 3rd stab, and he turned around and said, because I said I'm against it, blah blah blah, give my reasons and everything, and they said, "Oh, look at what it is. Well, look what's happening in California, in America, and this, that, and the rest of it." I got to speaking to a Californian who lives there,
Mhm.
and I said, "Could you tell me what's going on in California?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, what I've been told is that there's so many high rate there and death rate there and everything." And he said, "No, it's pretty normal here." And I'm thinking, this guy's just spouted off to me about 24 hours earlier saying that, you know, what the media are saying. That's why I like to speak to people that live around the area, which these people are quoting to me, and ask them.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, it
know.
makes a big
If anybody's going to
difference.
know,
I was on that live
yeah.
with you, Master Ron, and I believe he
Oh,
said
you what?
something like, "I don't remember the, or I haven't seen the hospitals being overrun of any sort with
Yeah,
dead.
yeah,
I went to the
exactly.
hospital not too long ago, and I don't really see any difference at all."
Yeah, see, and this is the problem where people are so fixated on what the mainstream media are telling them and everything in the newspapers or on radio or on TV that they don't think, hang on a minute, I can talk to somebody actually on the ground if I bother
Yeah, we
looking out
have the
for them
internet.
and I
We have
bother
phones.
listening to them. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like the internet, that's the whole point. And you get to speak to people all over the world on these
Yeah.
live streams. I'm sure you can find somebody from the area you keep on quoting and ask them, and then you'll get to know the truth. But no, of course they don't. They just want to turn a blind eye to that part of it.
Be careful,
Since
Master Ron.
Crazy.
They'll know what you've just said, and they'll think, we have to stop this shit soon. People are going to
since
talk to each other.
It's
since
right
this
though,
is
isn't it?
all,
It
yeah,
is.
since this has all started, I've made sure I talk to as many people as I can, going out and that, even people I don't normally talk to. And tell you what, mate, there's a lot more people see it than you think. Like us, when there's no telly
Yeah,
involved and there's no people listening or whatever, and then you test
Yeah,
the
yeah.
water, see what they're thinking. Before you know it, mate, 5 seconds into the conversation, you're going, "What the hell?" And there's a
Yeah,
lot of
and
people like that. You know
course,
what I mean?
of
Yeah,
course, random people as well will open up a lot more.
yeah, they do, because you don't know
I
what
open up to random people a lot more.
it's harder with your family, mate, isn't it? You know what I
It is.
mean?
It truly is. I
Yeah,
mean, I can't wait
yeah.
till I'm saying, you know, who I had in my cab the other day. You know,
Oh yeah.
well, this
some
is it.
bloke who said he was a doctor, you know, and he just happened to tell me X Y
No,
Z.
you will. Yeah. Do you know what? Who I find I've got a big hope for. You know, the young ones, like 20 or younger, or a lot younger even.
Yeah,
They're
I
very
thought you
clued
meant.
up. You know.
Yeah, I thought you meant Rick, Mike,
Yeah,
Vivian, and the
Neil,
young ones.
Neil.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But no,
They're
that's what I mean
they're
when
really
I
on
was
it,
in
the kids.
hospital. That's what I mean when I was in hospital the last time, and I said it on Dino's channel, that the person come around to give me their swabbing stick, and I refused, you know, and obviously the people and the patients around me heard me refuse and everything. So anyway, later on in the day, we was talking and everything, so we was talking about things and what have you, and they asked me about the sort of things that I was doing during the last nearly 2 years and what have you. So I says, oh well, what I've mainly been doing is I don't watch TV. I go on live streams. Oh, what's that? Oh, I go on live streams to talk to people from all around the world about the situation of the world it is at the moment, and I do a little bit of digging into things and what have you. And when I started saying, like, I haven't been stabbed yet and this, that, and the rest of it, this guy who's on the opposite bed to me pulled his nappy up over his face. But by the time I'd finished to explain where I'm coming from, his nappy come down underneath his chin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's happened to me that as well. Other people, it has a knock-on effect, and it's a good effect, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People, I think this is where they've had us all the time with these masks. Do you think? I mean,
Yeah,
they've really,
yeah,
it's a visual thing. It's so visual, and it's so like, Yeah, I'm gonna join in the this. It's not about them. It's always about
It's a cult.
it is weird stuff, mate. And
Yeah.
there's nothing that can take your body language away like that. Like, it's not natural. I love making little kids when I haven't got it on have a little smile, and they're made up, mate. You know, little babies who are learning and that. And to be honest, it's changed a lot round by us, though, mate. No one wears them round here now. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare. It's very whereas I used to be the odd one out, it's the odd one out now. So let's just hope I don't know what's coming, guys. I really don't.
I'd say
new
round where
times.
I am, there's a third of people still wearing them, and some
Is
of
there,
these
mate?
people are
Yeah.
wearing them on their own, walking down the street
Yeah, oh,
in
yeah.
cars.
Seen it,
wherever.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, like, I think it's a deeply rooted fear. I mean, or it's the power trip. You know what I mean? That people do like to put you down, don't they? You know what I mean? If they can find a way, they will like
Yeah.
to.
Well, they found it through the shops, really. They started seeing people that weren't wearing a nappy, you know, being stopped and saying, "Where's your nappy?" and everything. And they're walking past, sort of, "Oh, look at me. I'm the good person. I've got the power because I can walk straight through the shop and not be stopped. Look at you. They can call the police on you. I am superior to you." And it's stuck in their mind. That's where it all
Yeah,
comes from. That's stuck in their mind. They think they're superior.
yeah. To go like this, Ron. Just put your mask on. What's up? Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
You know, to get really, and you're not coming from an aggressive side of things. Do you know what I mean? I don't know where they get. They're getting
Yeah.
off on the aggression.
Yeah. It's.
I've got
I
barrier
don't know.
before we go out now.
What you got a barrier?
And
Yeah.
invisible.
Yeah. Me. I just if somebody does it to me, I just walk past and smile. You know what I mean, and wave. I don't give them any notice. Whereas Maria Moon, that's it. Somebody says something to her, and she's straight on. It's Bosh.
That's
I think.
Alison. That's Alison as well. She
That's
doesn't.
Maria.
Yeah. It goes
Me,
straight over my head.
yeah, that's it. I just shrug it aside like you would
I
a
don't.
wasp or something. Go away, little bug.
I don't even realise till I come home and I go, oh God, that's why. You know, I'll realise about 10 hours
Yeah,
later when it's too late.
that's it. I just give them a smile or something. You know what I mean? I think, oh, I don't give a damn what you're. You know,
Have you ever?
that's your
Yeah.
world.
Have you ever made anyone go purple with rage? But I do it all the time. You know, when people they can't stand me that much, they go on purple, and then I go, why are they going purple? All right, I've wound them up beyond belief. They want to strangle me any second. Yeah, they do. They want to strangle you, but there's nowhere to go from. And they go bright purple, don't they? And I don't even realise till I've got off, and I think, oh my God, yeah, I've wound them up to death.
That's what I mean. Was in the hospital today, and I think we're the only two people that didn't have a nappy on.
Apart from a guy that had
Yeah, I was like that when I went.
Apart from a guy, she noticed a guy that had bandages all around his face, but he didn't have one on. You know what I mean? But he did have one on. But we're the only two, and we must have walked past at least 100 people.
Yeah.
Easily.
Do you know what I was having trouble with? Right, I was exempt, and I up until just a couple of months ago, you know, when they raised the restriction, so you didn't have to wear a mask. I wore a mask, so I was exempt, but I wore a mask. And when I went into the shops, I was beginning to get really worked up more about the people who weren't wearing the mask properly, but were attempting to wear a mask. Nobody was saying anything to those people, but people without masks who were having something said to them sometimes. So these people with the mask on, but with it below their nose, or sometimes even on their chin bouncing around, you know, weren't having anything said to them. And I had one guy, the one time, it really irritated me, and I said something. I didn't want to. I felt bad about saying something after, but he was. I waited for him, like about 6 foot away from him. I gave people more, all that social distance that they needed, right? But I waited for this guy to finish in the supermarket area, and he walked past me after, And I had to wait like 10 minutes. It took him ages, you know. And I was really, really patient. I'm sure everyone knows I'm patient. And he walked past and he stared right into my eyes with his eyes, and I went, you know, your mask doesn't actually work if you're not wearing it. You know, like it's a bit of comedy, you know. And he went, everyone's gone bloody mad. And I went, well, you're not wearing it, but you're wearing it, are you? That seems mad to me. And yeah, in the end, he called me a. He was swearing at me and everything, and I said, manager, manager, I want the manager.
It went down like a lead balloon.
Well, I said something like, you know, what is it? Are you doing? You know, are you? What is your plan with these masks? You know, are you actually telling people to wear them or not? And he went, no, we're not. And I went, well, that's good, a good thing in a way, but why the hell am I wearing one then? You know, if you're not telling anyone. And I said, and to be honest, you know, if this guy's being the arsehole, is just like some kind of Section 5 public order, then, isn't it? And he went, yeah. And I went, yeah, and I'm not going to bother with that. But the point is, he's the one taking the piss. Yeah.
Well, it's like right at the start, you had people like Fucci and what have you. Not worth wearing a mask because it'll do nothing for you. And then he comes out with, oh, you do wear a mask. And then it's really, you need to have 2 masks. Oh, actually, maybe a 3rd mask would do. Oh, what about if you go swimming? Maybe you should wear a mask then. But the thing is, that
like I said the other day, if you can smell a fart, you can catch a virus. And, you know, these masks do nothing to stop you smelling a fart, right? Because, of course, viruses are 15,000 times smaller than the gaps that are in masks. And that is by our own government medical advisor.
And then you walk down the road. You walk down the road and the wind's blowing and it flaps someone else's mask in your face, and you think, well, that's a nice move, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, to be honest, have you ever seen a mask on the floor and then gone, oh my God, I need to get the hell away from that?
There's more masks flying around than birds at the moment.
In fact, they're worse than cigarette butts, aren't they?
Yeah. We live in the countryside area. And we've been walking through the country fields and everything, and we'll be seeing masks.
Yeah, they
on
blow
the ground.
for miles. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so crap. And you know what? They aren't. I wore a couple of those blue ones for like a couple of times, right? And I remember going, I hate this smell of them. Yeah. I really don't like it. It's like, this is not good for you. And then I looked into it, and yes, they're no good for you. You know?
They say it's that deadly, but then the bloody flying around like parachutes coming off the trees, you know, into your face and that. And then they're saying, well, they don't mind all that, do they? But then it's like it's past you the bloody test with the tongs, like they haven't touched the thing anyway, you know.
Well, Gregory asked here. He said, I heard that you're more likely to get COVID with a mask than without. And he says, I don't know if that's true. Now, what I can say is, let's say the mask was in some way protective, yes? Now, the thing is, by the own government statement, which is definitely only trying to stick to government-endorsed comments, yes, and advice. Now, you don't wear a mask to protect yourself. You wear a mask to protect other people. Is that right, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not wearing a mask to protect yourself. And if you get any sort of infection on your mask or on your hands and then touch your mask, then it will probably infect your respiratory system, more than likely.
You don't touch your face all the time like you do when they've got their masks on. They're always messing with them.
You touch your face something like freaking so many 1,000 times a day. But if you've got a mask on, you'll be touching it
more.
times 3 times, you know?
Yeah, easy, yeah.
I mean, if anyone's got a moustache or a beard or a bit of stubble, I mean, you touch your face even more with that, don't you?
Listen, we're not babies. Dakota just said don't go coughing over, which we weren't. We kept distance. Do you know what I mean? Do you think we've all lost our mind all of a
Brilliant way
sudden
of putting
and
it.
we go, yeah, come on, we're not bloody stupid.
Well, the thing is, though, right? The thing is, yeah, if they make things seem stupid, then we will be stupid or we'll seem stupid because we're going against it.
Well, then you know they've got you because you're doing things that are against your normal, and he'll know. Well, yeah, well, this fella's on board with our way of thinking now. You know what I mean? It's a big sign to say. It's for me anyway. To say,
if they say right, you've got to walk on your hands, or one of your hands and one of your feet, if you get anywhere within 3 meters of someone. Yeah.
We're getting there. We're not far off, are we?
Well, the thing is, if we start doing that, some people start doing it. Not everyone's going to do it. A lot of people go, "Oh, sod off! I'm not doing that." You know, and then they're going to get battered with truncheons in the street.
Yeah.
Because they're stupid for not doing it. You know.
There's a good thing I always remember from one of my favourite musicians, Slice Stone, and in Woodstock back in the day, he said a great comment, and it was like he was trying to get the audience to clap to get in a unity together, and people were looking around at the if anyone else was clapping. Look, are they clapping? It's not about looking around. Is it okay with everyone else? But it's a great little analogy of don't worry if it's cool with your brothers. Join in, and But that's what's happening. Once other people see that they're doing it, they'll start doing it as well. You see, and it's not about that
anti-sheep thing. You know, don't follow, lead.
Yeah.
Even if everyone is leading their own thing separately.
It's so easy, the right way of doing things. It's not this complicated, and I don't know what's going on, mate. It's just life.
Well, I mean, they're getting rid of choice, aren't they? You know, there is no rainbow; it's all one colour.
Yeah. Do you want everyone thinking the same old way, like, and they don't want any? Do you want to wipe out like and imagination is key. They don't want you to use your imagination anymore. It seems.
I found that out myself at school because I have a vivid imagination,
and
it was never really encouraged. Except for one or two teachers which wanted to, but then couldn't.
With the thesis. And you know what? Imagination rules the world. Look around you. Everything started in someone's imagination. The glass, the table, the keyboard, everything started with someone just thinking. And I wonder if that. So nothing around us has come about without imagination. So why isn't that king? Imagination rules the world. I'm telling you.
There's a song, isn't there? Imagination.
Yeah, probably.
The lyrics go. I can't. Let me see if I can get that up.
It's everything imagination. Like without that. Yeah.
Without imagination, we'd have no books, and without imagination, we'd have no film.
There's nothing. Everything around you.
We'd have no conversations because people would meet together in the street and kind of go.
Yeah.
How boring that world would be.
See, when it all started and everything, I've got to admit, I bought into it. And
I was scared of my shopping, like I admitted the other night. I was scared. I was like, can I touch this shit? Or am I going to start bleeding from every orifice?
For about 3 weeks, we'd have our... for about 3 weeks, we'd obviously, because we were told to shield, so we were getting our shopping delivered. So I'd unpack my shopping and I'd literally clean everything. You know,
I'd be
constantly washing my hand, disinfecting.
Well, you were following the proper level of decontamination then, Master Ron.
So, and I'd be all sorts of fucking things. And I did it about 3 times and I thought, what the fuck am I doing to myself? You know, so then,
the proof of this shit,
I started to think logically. You know, I thought, hang on a minute. You know, I'm thinking illogically. Let me put some logic into what I'm doing and really look into it. And that's what was the trigger, was going, hang on a minute. I'm being a little bit fucking crazy here. I'd say like a month ago, they'd have been locking me up for doing what I'm doing. You know,
Yeah.
they'd have gone, "Oh, this guy's got a mental problem."
There's a lot of mental problems going around, and this bloody stuff that's gone on has just been it's been a touch paper, mate, for it. You know what I mean? I look
And
round and
everyone is really ready to blow about the slightest thing, aren't they?
it's heavy, mate. It's never been like this, but you've got to realise that people who have got mental difficulties don't know they have them, and now that's when there's a problem. If you can address a mental issue, like Ron there said, and realise this isn't the way of being, then you can address it once you've spotted it. But when you don't know, that's the definition of having a problem, when you don't know the problem's there. That's
Well, you had Ruby Wax, the very first question time, when we had the very first lockdown, the first week. I had her on the panel, and she has been the only sensible person that actually spoke on TV. And she turned around and said, right at the beginning, she said, uh, herself, she's got mental issues and what have you. And she said the people with mental issues will more likely find that they can cope with it better than the people without mental issues. So the woman said, well, why do you come to that conclusion? She said, well, because they've already got mental issues. You know, they
They're
have
having to
sort
deal
of,
with a lot of shit.
yeah,
They've
they've had to
addressed them,
deal
yeah.
with a lot of shit. Whereas the
Yeah.
people who haven't had to deal with anything will
realise.
be the ones who'll suffer out of it.
They're none
Nearly
the
2
wiser.
years later, she
Yeah,
was
they're none the
fucking
wiser.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she's
was
right,
so
yeah.
right.
Yeah, because they're none the wiser, and that's when the problems. When you think everything's right, and it's not right, that's when it becomes a psychosis almost, or
You will
yeah.
create it everywhere you see if you're not careful.
Yeah, it's not real what's happening, but they believe it's real, and it's a dangerous place. Like, a lot of people are in that position now, I would say.
Yeah, it's the matrix that they're creating.
Yeah, it's been created all right through fear. It's a heavy little trap, mate.
We're talking about imagination. What about the track "Imagine" by John Lennon? You know,
Yeah.
and what if he'd have changed it? Just I'm kind of comedy bit here, just to make me smile. But imagine there's no COVID.
See, it's easy if you try. It's easy if you try. Yeah.
No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the
It's
people
true, though, isn't it,
living
mate? It's
for
true.
today.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
But years are going by with all this nonsense, and you know what? What we're not doing is living.
This is what we haven't been able to live for the last 20 months.
Yeah. Oh God.
And we don't have it as bad, like I said earlier, as some of these third world countries. We don't have it anywhere near as bad as them. They have been in total lockdown for the entire time. And it's not covered on the news. It's hard to find out. The only way to know what is going on is to actually speak to someone in one of those countries.
Yeah, it's true.
And the only way you can speak to them is on these things.
On
where you
these
get to
things
speak
or
to other
social
people.
media specific places. Yeah.
Do you know what though? I've got to say it. There's a lot of spanners going on in the work, and I don't believe it's just normal public. I think it's some of them are getting paid for causing
they
trouble
are.
now.
I mean, what about what about all the trouble that's always been caused or perpetuated by the authorities? Full stop. Over the past however long you want to go back through history.
They've got the feet in everywhere. Believe me, as far as I see it, they've got the feet in everywhere, and there's
how many
always
Roman centurions caused unneeded pain?
Oh God, as I say, I don't think there's much. People haven't got enough empathy lately. I find, for each other, a little bit more empathy, and we're off.
Oh, just one second. You know those scientists that have signed that piece of paper? What is it called again?
The Freedom Alliance.
Freedom. You know, on that chat earlier on, I said to the guy, because you was in the back, weren't you, listening on that chat I was on earlier on. And he said, oh, what's the paper, with all these scientists who have signed, saying the opposite to what the scientists who are agreeing and blah, blah, blah. It's called the Freedom Alliance paper, and they're working on the what?
The Nuremberg.
It's to do with the Nuremberg.
Yeah, that's some hope at least, isn't it?
Yeah, and and he, because he turned around and says, "Oh, I don't know about this and everything," but yeah, the Freedom Alliance. That's the one I was trying to direct him to, but I've forgot the bloody name when he was saying to me. Yeah, but yeah, there's thousands, isn't there, of scientists,
Mhm.
top scientists and professors and everything that have signed this piece of paper, but they haven't got the voice, and that's what I was trying to put over to the person. You know,
Yeah, don't waste your time, mate.
yeah,
You're not wasting your time here. Could I tell you my story about what happened in someone collapsed in the year? Only when you're ready, mate. Carry on, Ron. Remind me in a minute.
yeah. It's just that there's so many people, scientists, professors from all around the world in many fucking countries that have signed this piece of paper
10,000, isn't
which
it?
disagree. Yeah, it's 10.
Jesus.
Yeah, 10,000. Yeah, around about 10,000. Yeah, of these scientists, professors,
Have
top
joined
in their
together.
fields, joined together and signed this piece of paper. But this person wouldn't. He didn't even acknowledge that there should be a debate. This is it. He was saying, "Oh, these scientists, the scientists." No. So even when I turned around and said to him, "Hang on a minute, these scientists, you got to remember, are funded by the WHO. Who are these people who are funding these people? If they had the funding take away, you know, if they says, "Oh, well, I think it this way," their funding will be taken away. So yeah, they're gonna preach whatever their funding is coming from. He wouldn't accept it. I said,
Nope.
who funds this? Oh, who funds this scientist who you're saying is telling you the truth? Who's this scientist you're telling me about? Who funds that person? It's like, haven't you really sort of found anything out before you allow this fucking 12-year-old child get stabbed? Aren't you, you know, he had no concern at
Nope.
all. Yeah,
Nope.
his answer to it was, "Oh well, a child could go out and play football and break their neck. Oh, could walk out into the street and get run over." I
Take
thought,
no
yeah,
notice, mate.
well, accidents will happen. If something happens to that 12-year-old child, and he hasn't fought for that 12-year-old child to have
You
something
wouldn't be sleep.
experimental put inside of them, who's to
How could you
fucking blame
sleep at
him?
night? Yeah, how could you
Yeah,
sleep at night? Yeah, no way could you sleep at night, mate.
no.
Yeah,
I'd be terrified. No, of course, no.
yeah, it's a big
It's
no-no, mate. It's a big no-no.
crazy thinking. I think,
Yeah,
well, hang on
true.
a minute. You
What
know,
planet? Yeah.
and he even says, "Yeah, I know that people have died from it. I know that people have suffered this. I know that people have suffered that." So I thought, oh, so you're going to accept the will of, he said in his state area
Yeah.
is an area which is saying that you have to do this. And I think, well, it doesn't matter if you're in a state that says you have or you haven't. Surely you're going to say no. You know,
If someone,
it's an experimental.
if someone
Yeah,
argues for the government, like how right they are, I just have
yeah.
questions. Do you know what I mean? I just have big questions.
Well,
here's
this is it.
one for you,
It's
right? I,
just one
I
second,
yeah,
SG.
sure.
Just one second, SG. This is an auditor who goes out and he finds out how corrupt the government is. Who's quoting the government? And I think, hang on a minute, are you listening to yourself, please? It's like, yeah. Anyway,
I don't,
sorry.
No,
I don't know why
you're
people get
right.
involved in it. Yeah.
I know everyone wants to get involved because they have to, substantiate what they've had to do and what they're going to do, as well, don't they? I think that's half
Yeah,
of the
it's
reason.
true. Yeah.
I'm not sure I can remember what I was going to say then. Oh, yeah, maybe. I'm just going to try and
I will
grab it
never
out of the.
conform. I seen that on the
Yeah,
thingy there. I will never conform, mate. Yeah, thank. I don't usually see the chat, but it's popped up on me, that one.
yeah. I had to pop that up on
Yeah.
there.
Big thumbs up, mate.
What's he say there? 33% have had it in Scotland so far. What are these parents doing, for fuck's sake?
It's heavy,
Yeah.
innit? It's just like,
Mm.
oh, mate, I'd hate the
Well, I mean,
daughters to be in school, but at
what
the
is the
moment, it's
government in
out my
Scotland
hands.
doing? Letting children at school choose their gender and their names and what toilet they can use.
And it's,
These are our kids. These are our kids, mate.
You
Yeah.
have to be an adult before you can make those choices, surely.
Not half. I mean, I'm only getting more grown up when in my 40s, mate. Never mind that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
I
still a
still
baby. I'm
need a
still a
few
baby.
things.
I'm far
You know,
from. I need a lot of work.
I
Believe
still
me, I
need to
need a
lock
lot
a
of
few
work.
things. You know.
You know, he was saying, well, you allowed your child to have this jab as a child, and you allowed your child to have this jab as a child, and everything. And you think, well, yeah, and look at the mistakes they made and everything, you know.
Mm.
But with them ones, you could actually, at least there was some recourse. You could turn around and say, well, hang on a minute, they made a mistake. You can actually take them to court and say, right, you have fucking done this. With this one, you cannot do it. You've
No
got
way,
nothing.
mate.
And something else he couldn't compute in his head. When has
Yeah,
there
well,
been something which you
Mm.
cannot go against? This is the one where you cannot go against it.
listen, mate. I've heard really bad things. Like there's someone
Yeah.
on they've had a fair brain operation after it, and this is in the next street, mate. And I'm only saying what happened to it, but there's someone in the gym, and he was a bit of an idiot, right? He's even is more so now, but because he's done me head in over something. But never mind him. What it was, he was having his first one, and I said, "Listen, mate, you have to sign. You have to sign something to say." Anyway, he went and had it, and I seen him like weeks later, and he said, "I had it, and I collapsed in the thing." You know, the nurse who was doing it was actually is goes to the gym as well, and she was there, so it was. And what he done, he said the doctor rang him. So he taped the phone call, right? And he showed me the phone call. I listened to it. He wouldn't give me it, mate. He said, no, I'm going with solicitor. There's nothing the solicitor could do. But listen, mate, he had the first one. He said he got burning in his arm and he just come over funny. Next thing, he smashed his head on falling down. And he woke up with 7 people around him trying to resuscitate him and that. And what he said he couldn't use his arms for ages and all this. And the doctor rang him up, and these are the doctor's words. So I won't breathe a word of negligence here because I'll get it right.
Mhm.
The doctor said, what it is, he's having to answer 30, 40 of these reports a day. This is just in the local doctors down there. And he said, what they're doing is completely horrific. These are his words. This hasn't been tested for nowhere near. He said it should have been tested at least 20 years. And not only that, it's not like any other whatever's. And he said, and what it is, it's all getting brushed under the carpet. You should have heard the despair in this fella's voice. I felt so sorry for him, mate. The idiot lad was like trying to stick up for it when the doctor's trying to tell him, look, it's bad news, mate. And he was said, let me think what else he said. He said, conspiracy. I know they say about conspiracy and all this, but this isn't the same. He said, you're lucky to be, there's another way, you're lucky to be here speaking to me now. That's all he can say. He advised him not to have the second one, which he didn't. And it was an eye-opening conversation. I just wish I had that bloody recording because, I asked him what's the name of the doctor because I was telling my mum and she said, "Oh, don't believe he'll be lying about." It was just so real, mate. You know. I said, "What's the doctor?" And I looked up the doctor and he's there. Yeah, it is the doctor, and he was one of the doctors we need, mate, to be on our side. You know what I mean? I should have heard him. And I'm not even a bit weird of a lie with that, mate. That's from the horse's mouth. That absolutely eye-opening. And I heard that ages ago, and it's always rung in my head. And not that I was thinking of it anyway, but he was on his last tethers with it, mate. The despair in his voice was a different level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the truth.
It
Oh,
really is. It's beyond a worry now, isn't it? You know, way beyond a worry. It's a reality. Worries
That was
are
real, mate.
something are possibilities. You know, you only worry about possibilities. You don't worry about things that have happened, do you? You know, you deal with the effect of what has happened. You only worry about things that haven't happened yet. And these, you know, these
We've got to not
possibilities
fall.
of what can happen are
Yeah, we've not got to
looking
fall in.
more.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be negative, but yeah, I am trying to make the point that it is looking bad. There aren't
It
many
is.
options left, and it's not us that are being the negative ones. It's the governments. They are throwing the fear at us so much. We need wings to stay above the piles of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Luckily,
Yeah. Well.
I imagine we do have wings, you know, because
I believe.
we would have
I
been,
believe
you know, suffocated it by now.
good over evil, mate. Lately, it really is. Do you know what I mean? For me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if we're not careful, though, it will turn into that in the streets. You know, somebody will say something, and we'll go, "Oh, you're a freaking Darth Vader." You know what I mean? Like, stay away from me. You know, if we're not careful,
It's creeping that way, isn't it, mate? But
it really is. Yeah.
let's not worry about what could happen, and let's just think about the now and us being on here talking to each other on the same boat. And you know, there's loads of us. Believe me, it just needs a little bit of coaxing. And never
I
has
think
anyone been more awake than now. Never
we
has
need to
anyone.
make sure exactly what you just said there, and we need to make sure that in the streets that doesn't happen. That's my point of mentioning it.
Yeah,
because if we're not careful and we don't accept that that is a possibility, then we won't be able to avoid it.
You've got to remember, let's see how many people are coming together who wouldn't normally come together. That's so strong. I mean, I'm talking to people that not just online.
Right.
I mean in real life. I'm talking to more people who I wouldn't normally talk to, and they're seeing it my way. That's never happened before. That's a really positive thing, that, you know, and it's spreading. It will spread. It will spread. Yeah.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, it's true though, mate. I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you. I'm not filling you full of hope and glory and rose tinted stuff. It really is so, mate. The young ones are brilliant.
I think that yes, that some people who have even bought into having the second one are really thinking about, should I have this booster as well? You know what I mean? I think a few people are sort of thinking, hang on a minute, you know, hang on a minute, it was one and then it was two and now I have to take a third one. When's the fourth one going to be?
It's a badly little test to see how they can get away with it, creep it in, and let's see how it reacts, check all the water, all the statistics, and see how people, they're just creeping it in to death, aren't they, mate? And it's the slower it is, you don't notice it. It's like it's growing, isn't it? And
it's that proverbial frog in the boiling kettle or boiling cauldron, you know. The frog slowly boils and doesn't even know it's happening. And of course, if he knew, then he'd try jumping the hell out.
Subdued, isn't it? Getting subdued into it. Listen, guys, it's been a really nice chat. Like, I'm gonna go and see to my cat. He's been outside for a bit, but I might be in the background or anything else or pop back on. But it's been lovely talking to you. Thanks for that, SG and Master Ron.
No worries.
You're welcome. Obviously, I don't know how much longer SG is going to stay on for, but you know, if we're not here, then we might be over on Film Boy or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll stick around
be honest,
a bit
I'm
longer.
on very low numbers myself with the streamer, and I'm so thankful for everyone who's joined. You know, I really am.
Myself personally, thank you very much for finding that paperwork, Film Boy SG, and thank you very much for allowing me to read it and hear you speak it and everything.
No.
So when I come up against one of these arseholes, because there's a lot of them out there, I can turn around.
I'll tell you who I did it for. I did it for everyone.
I'm going to go back and watch.
I did it for me myself.
Yeah, I'll go back and check that and catch up what that was. I missed this.
Yeah, do that because it's very important. I feel.
It's very,
When,
very
when,
important, Carl.
when I come on, Alison goes, "What are you, you narcissist? Don't watch yourself." She goes to me. It's funny. I'm not allowed. I'm banned from telling. Mind you, I don't wallow in it myself. As I say, once you see me in the mirror, I'm, whoa, get
I,
out of
I
here.
don't
That
I don't like
reflection.
myself in a
No.
Yeah, but
reflection of anything.
you want
So
to see,
I can't do that.
Same, mate.
you do though, Carl. You want to see the paperwork that SG did
Yeah, I
this
will.
thing for, and it's
It doesn't
rather
take
shocking.
long. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, but it's rather shocking what's happening in a
I'm
certain
finding
part
it very
of
hard to be shocked,
Canada.
sadly, lately. I'm very finding it
Mm.
hard to be shocked.
Well, you watch
It's
this one.
Well,
Yeah.
all right.
brace
What's
Tell
this,
us what you
yourself.
mate?
think.
I'd
Wow,
say
will
brace
do.
yourself, Carl.
Brace
Really.
myself, right? Yeah.
After you
Yeah.
read that, you'll be going, yeah, you
You,
do need to have a channel.
you may
Believe me,
have
after
to ask
reading it, you'll be
somebody to
going,
tie you
yes,
up so you can
I
watch
yeah,
it. You know.
I go through with Alison because she's on our level, mate. She's
Yeah.
yeah,
been like this for a very long time as well. Like so,
I'm glad she's
uh,
awake.
she's well
mm-hmm,
awake, mate. Yeah. Even though they
yeah,
said they said this, that, and the other about her, she's been at this in her head for a very long time. So it's just funny how people don't realise they got bigger mental issues than they have. When the big problem is when they think they haven't, and that's the
mm-hmm,
overcome. Once we overcome that, I think we're
yeah.
off. Hey, big
Yeah.
respect, guys. Love you loads. Take care.
You take care. Love to you
Yeah,
both.
and you.
Bye
No
now.
Love,
worries.
love
You have a
back,
good one.
and you, mate.
Bye bye. Yes, thank you very much, SG, for getting that piece of paper, and I was grateful to go through it with you. It's an eye
Yeah.
opener,
No.
and well, another eye opener.
Like I say, I didn't just do it for you. I'm not trying to take away that, but I did do it for
I
you,
know what you
obviously.
mean.
But
I know
yeah,
what
I
you
did, I
mean,
did
mate.
it for Flute Dog for one as well.
Yeah.
Because it didn't really get the coverage it needed to on the live that he mentioned it on.
Well, that's what I couldn't understand is that it's, every single time it's like, oh, Flute Dog, I have Flute Dog on because then he can share something and everything. And it's basically shut down before he even started. And I thought,
Everything's been distracted lately by everything else, hasn't
yeah,
it?
I know. And they should
I've been
stay
trying to
on
avoid
point.
that. And at least get my point across before we go to probably usually what we talk about, which is the stab,
Yeah,
which is fine.
exactly.
It all turns into the stab, doesn't it? Because it's so
I
fucking
was
important.
I was on before nip off and everything. I was on Rom's the other day.
Hmm.
He did a live stream, and I had this debate. It was me against a person who's all for the dib dab, but it
Hmm.
was such a good debate and everything.
You need that
Literally,
person that's
it
for
was a
it, though, don't you?
really good debate. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no snipes at each other or anything. You
Oh
know what I
wow.
mean? Completely different points of opinion, but he didn't snipe at me. I didn't snipe at him. You know, we kept calm. We took turns and everything. And Bron said that was a really good debate because that's how debate should be. He allowed you to speak and you allowed him to speak. I said, well, that's
Yeah.
how it's supposed to be. Not all clambering over each other, not doing a crinkle. And he laughed. He said, oh, yeah, I know about crinkle. You know what I mean? I said, 'cause it
And
just
I'm
doesn't
sorry,
work.
but Crinkle, I've been willing to give him the benefit of the doubt many times and willing to listen out his opinion, but he does kind of eventually go down the same old route that he usually does, which is, it's a bit shouty over. You can't really debate with him after a certain point. He becomes quite overpowering, which reminds me of somebody else called Buzz as well.
Yeah, with that,
I can't do with all that stuff.
I won't go on anything where Crinkle is anymore because he made
And I
it
left that
perfectly
thing with
clear.
Buzz there the other night. Although I'm, to be honest, as long as I'm allowed to slap Crinkle when he's being like I just said, then to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, he makes some good points sometimes.
I,
Because we
I,
do
I,
need constructive criticism. It's just the line between constructive criticism and overpowering, trollness in the way that he speaks to someone is very thin. and he will,
Well,
go over that line very often.
I put this way, when you finally got to see that video of the danger which those people were in, we're not talking about just adults,
Yeah,
it's small
no,
children
yeah,
as well. And in the end, he turned around and said that, well, if people, they deserve clubbing, I thought it
yeah.
ain't
There's
worth
no
talking
getting
to
through to
you.
him, is there?
And I'm not ever going to talk to you again, and I'm not going to appear on a panel with you again. I want
I kind of get
nothing to
what
do
you're
with
saying.
you
Yeah,
again. Because he's made himself perfectly clear why he wants to go on Auditor's channel and talk about auditing when all he does is put them down right from the start. Like, Film Boy, especially if I'm in the chat or anything, he won't allow Crinkle on. But when I go into chat and I see what he's writing in the back and everything, all he's doing is having a go at auditors. He's just putting them down in
I
the
know, but
private chat.
exactly. Not having a constructive argument.
Yeah,
It begins with a constructive argument, and then it switches to an attack. That is my point. The thin line that
his
he treads, suddenly he's gone over it
his
in no time.
opinion of auditors, and he's made it perfectly clear on a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of on a lot of auditors' channel is you're only in it for the money. That's plain.
And
That's
yet,
what he believes.
and yet, when told that I don't have any monetization, he doesn't have an opinion on that shit. Then does he?
Yeah. So no, I just can't be asked with that guy anymore. I think, oh
I know
fuck
what you're
it.
saying. But to be honest,
Mhm.
I can't wait to see one of his videos that he's supposedly going to bring out, just to see what the hell he actually does and see how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, well, I'll let you go and watch it because I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
watch
Maybe I'll cover it one night,
it.
like see the.
If you feel sadistic one day and you come and tell me it, then I'll just say you're a sadistic arsehole.
I'm a sadist. I'm a sadist.
No, I can't be asked with the guy anymore. I just think, oh well,
Well, I read that story out the other week, didn't I? The one about the tiger arguing with the
yeah,
donkey.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I know not everyone got it, and I know it was a little bit long, but I believe that says a very important point about wasting our time with these people,
yeah.
because they will argue that the grass is blue all freaking day and night until the day they die, and you couldn't dissuade them of it,
No.
and there's no point in wasting other people's or your own time with it.
Well, all I know is that I've talked to Crinkle. You've talked to Crinkle.
Mm,
Mike West has talked to Crinkle. Mark Kelly has talked to Crinkle. Dino has talked to Crinkle. And
yeah.
Fluke's tried to talk to Crinkle.
Oh, many
And
times.
nothing would ever mean anything to the guy.
Mm, yeah,
Nothing. No
yeah.
matter what angle and everything. And when you think about it, when you have a person like him
Unless Crinkle
phoning your
doesn't go over that line, then
phoning your phone
seems okay.
number, but like Fluke says, he phones him at 3 a.m. in the morning, so leaves stupid messages. He's got multiple different named accounts and everything.
Yeah.
Well, who does that sort of thing? A
Well, he
troll.
did say that he gets kicked out before he can get to the real kernel of like niceness about auditing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he has mentioned that kernel now and again, but it's only a small kernel of like niceness. And he has to go his trollness way half the time, and then when he goes his trollness way, he usually gets kicked out before that point, and then he really goes troll style on them.
Yeah.
His comment, he
Mm-hmm.
gets a bit trolly, after a
Yeah.
while because he gets kicked out prematurely
Well,
because he doesn't get his say because he's toxic or whatever.
no, he is. He's very.
But now we're wasting too much time on him already.
Yes.
It's been like
Okay. Then.
5
Well,
minutes.
like,
Yes.
I'm sure that I enjoyed it. I'm sure that anybody who tuned in enjoyed what you showed to us and everything. I do personally appreciate it. I've got to say, Maria Moon appreciates it. Thank you very much.
No, I hope that
And
somebody joins. Somebody watches this video at the start and at least gets the information. Even if they don't listen to any of us talking about it, they
yeah,
will see what it is and what it says.
it's in
That's
what
all
you
they need
call
to see, really, isn't it?
yeah, it's all in black and white for people to see. There
Yeah.
it is. Okay
Yep.
then, mate. It's been a pleasure
No
again
worries.
talking to you.
No, it
Hopefully I
always
can
is a
see you
pleasure for
on
me.
board.
Thank you.
Speak to you later. Bye, and love to all in chat. And love to you as well, SG. I don't forget you.
Yeah, thanks. See you,
You
Master
take
Ron. See you,
care,
Maria
mate.
Moon.
Bye,
Take
mate.
care, Miss Jim.
And thank you to everyone in the chat here. Grandad's Jukebox, Maria Moon, I Will Never Conform, UK Transparency. I don't know if anyone else is there. Still, it says 10 people, so I don't know who else is there. But I thank everyone for watching, listening, and hopefully go back and just watch that start again. And seriously, thanks UK Transparency. You're awesome. And peace.